Ah, I I knew I was wrong. I had a feeling I was going to be wrong this morning. I definitely had a feeling I was going to be wrong before kickoff, and I was wrong. Instant reaction time. Michigan gets the 24-15 win over number 10 Penn State. They improved to 10-0 on the year. They are running through the Big Ten, and they look like a legitimate threat to defeat Ohio State. What can we take away from this game? If you're brand new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I talk NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, but I love talking college football. And if this is the type of content you enjoy, this is the channel made for you. So hit the subscribe button down below. We're on the race to 1,000 subscribers. Tell everybody about this channel. And as always, let's continue to talk college football. I should have known that this game was going to end one way, just complete and total Harbaugh football. Because of when Jim Harbaugh was told this morning he was not going to be on the sidelines, you could tell that everybody on that Michigan sideline was very much emphatic of playing Harbaugh style. And that's exactly what they did. The passing attack was not potent at all. If you're JJ McCarthy, best of luck to you if you come back next year for the Heisman Trophy. I don't think you will. I think that at this point, we know that you're going to be one of the top quarterbacks selected in the draft. But at the same time, this was a game that was supposed to make a statement. And I think that there were two statements made. For starters, this rushing attack still is good. A lot of people, myself included, thought that they were able to run the football well throughout the regular season because of the lesser tier competition. But this was a game that I thought for sure, because if you watch the way that Penn State played against Ohio State, they were going to have to win through the air. That was the only way Michigan was going to be successful, with Colson Loveland and Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson and other players getting involved on third down and JJ McCarthy using his arm. They didn't throw the football after the 7-minute mark in the second quarter. And the main reason why they didn't have to, because Sharon Moore basically took a page out of the book of Harbaugh and said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make them beat us the other way. We're going to make them find us into a scenario where we have to throw the football. And if they don't do that, all right, well, tough shit. We don't care. We're pissed off. We're mad at everybody. We know that we are a good team. We don't think that the NCAA handled the entire situation with the sign stealing scandal properly. Screw it. We're going to beat you our way. And they did. That's exactly what happened. And you can make an argument that it wasn't just a few breakaway runs. There was 4 runs of over 20 yards, 2 by Donovan Edwards, 2 by Blake Corum. They just found a way to make Penn State exacerbated. And if you go back to the very beginning of the game, it was clear that they were trying to play a hardcore, old school smash mouth football. And the crowd intensity was supposed to be a major factor. It wasn't. And the defensive line at the very start of the game was absolutely dismantling Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. They were forcing JJ McCarthy to maneuver outside the pocket. They were doing their job. And then slowly but surely, here we go. Michigan just starts running, and they run, and they run. And it takes one play, and look at that. End zone, 30 yards, Blake Corum. End zone, 3-yard touchdown. End zone, 22-yarder by Donovan Edwards. And that was the formula, and it worked. That's all you can say. This was a game to where you strutted your stuff and showed the world, yeah, we are still a run-efficient team. We do have a great passing attack. But if we don't have to pull out all the bells and whistles, we're not going to. And it kind of felt like after they jumped out to an early lead, and then you saw Penn State come back and they scored, and then they go for the 2-point conversion right before halftime. Sharon Moore kind of said, let's just get out of here with the win. It's going to be a top 10 win on our resume. We're going to still look really promising in the views of all of those who have college football playoff votes. We still have the opportunity to win the Big Ten East. And if we win that, naturally, we're probably going to go out of our way and show everybody, yeah, we are the team to beat, not just in the Big Ten, but maybe in all of college football. And the final thing was, they just really showed everybody that they don't have an off switch. Like, yeah, they didn't throw that well, 6 of 8 passing or 6 of 7 passing for JJ McCarthy. What this was it was a statement saying, no, you're not beating us on the ground. No, you're not beating us through the air. And no, we're not allowing you to cross the 50 unless we say so. And that's exactly what they did against everybody. They did it against Nebraska, and they did it against Michigan State, and they did it against Rutgers. And this is what good teams do. They don't turn off the off switch. They keep momentum at an all-time high, and they stick to their guns and they just walk out with the win, a pretty convincing one defensively. And now we're talking about Michigan as one of the best teams in college football. I don't think that there's any doubt anymore. I don't. And I think Sharon Moore just proved to the world, if Jim Harbaugh goes to the NFL, that's your first phone call. And if he doesn't go to the NFL and if he's back in Ann Arbor next year, I think East Lansing is going to be making a phone call and trying to get him over there to be the next Spartans coach. And if not there, somewhere in the Power 5 is going to offer Sharon Moore a job. That was a brilliant game plan. It was excellent execution. It was phenomenal play design to understand, hey, let's just go ahead and secure the dub, worry about what comes next, and get our minds ready for facing off against Ohio State at home. Really get our minds right to face off against Maryland and kind of show Maryland as the baseline, like the opening act. Boo, get off the stage. The headliner's going to suck. That's kind of what they're going to do next week, in my opinion. It wasn't an excellent performance by any means whatsoever. It wasn't perfect. I thought pass pro was absolutely atrocious at times, but this is a very good Penn State defensive front. This is a very solid Penn State unit underneath Manny Diaz, and it didn't matter at the end of the day. I mean, last year, this was a Penn State defense that allowed over 400 yards rushing, primarily all in the second half. And Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum decided to go off. And today, 227 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 4.9 yards per play. Kind of the same formula, different crap. Penn State. This is a harsh wake-up call to the rest of the world, to you specifically, because you're playing at your own backyard. It's an early kick. The stadium is rocking. It is loud. It is obnoxious. Fans are ultimately in the game. You have a quarterback that you believed in, a guy that you were ready to say was going to be a difference maker than Sean Clifford, a difference maker than Matt McGloin, a difference maker than Christian Hackenberg, somebody that you could hitch your wagon to and see national championship aspirations. And he only threw for 60 yards. And your run game was somewhat potent at times. You rushed for 4.7 yards per play. You had a few breakaway runs. Katron Allen had a 34-yarder, but it really didn't matter. It just didn't. Play calling wise, it was absolutely atrocious at times. Going for it and calling a timeout just to punt. What the hell are you doing, James Franklin, in that situation? And defensively, you did your job for the most part, but once they wore you down, they took the top off the defense. And congratulations. That's the result. That's what happened. Penn State's a good team. They're not a great team. And unfortunately, I have to go ahead and eat crow. I picked Penn State to win this game. I thought Penn State was going to come out. They were going to be more than maniac built mentality, because if they realized, hey, if we win this, we're not only in the college football playoff hunt, but there's a scenario to where we still have a shot of going to Indy, and you don't. Drew Dollar's got a lot of decisions to make this offseason, and one of them is, does he want to stick around in Happy Valley? Because this is a kid I actually do believe has a lot of potential, and he could make it to the NFL. And Penn State is a program that is dominant when it comes to recruiting, and it is a program that knows how to attract the right players, and it is a program that punches out NFL talent left and right. But the bottom line is that now you have a head coach in James Franklin, who since 2014 when he was hired, is 4-16 against your two biggest rivals. He's 3-17 against AP top 10 teams, and he's 1-12 against AP top 5 teams. You have to decide right now, what do you want? Do you want Drew Aller back, or do you want your offense coordinator, Mike Urich? Because I can tell you this much. If Urich is back, Aller's not. You can't have that type of inept play calling, that minuscule of play design, and think that that's good enough to beat Michigan. It's not. You may have an exceptional defense. So does Michigan. And what Michigan did was they realized, hey, this isn't working. Let's stick to what is. Let's play our game. Let's figure out a way to we just get out of here. Doesn't matter if we win by 10. Doesn't matter if we win by 9. We just want to win. And your execution in the first half, and then once you got out of halftime, failing to make adjustments until the fourth quarter, that's a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for a loss. You're a good team. You're not a great one. There's a lot of good teams in college football. Teams that are going to be playing in New Year's Six bowl games, and teams that are going to be playing in matchups against quality top 25 opponents. You're one of them. But you're not one of the elite teams. And there really isn't one in college football this year. But there definitely is a huge difference, once again, between Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. And it falls on James Franklin. It does. Next year, it's not going to matter this game. And it's the problem that really sucks. These type of matchups, the must-see spectacles, just go 10-2 when you're in the CFP because you play in a Power 5 conference, because you're a part of a program that is very well resonated among the fan base. You're a team that will bring in boosting ratings, but you can't win the big one. And that's where we are with Penn State. And we've been there for a while. You've won 4 games against your rival in almost a decade. That's not good enough. That's 4 games combined. That's not good enough. But for Penn State, unfortunately, here's the problem. You are where you are. I don't know what you can do to upgrade over a James Franklin. I don't know who can come into the program and fix this. I don't know who can keep up with recruiting at the same level he does, but get better play design. This is where you have to go out and hire an offensive coordinator. This is where you have to make changes to your staff. That way you have more of a CEO approach. There's a lot of different things that have to happen, but it's clear that Drew Aller is a quarterback that can play. He's not a quarterback that's going to work in this offensive system. And honestly, I don't know how many are. I don't think that there are that many quarterbacks that will find success underneath Mike Yurich. So change has got to come to Happy Valley. You're going to go 10-2 again. You're going to play in a New Year's 6 bowl game and not the college football playoff again. You're going to be a team that potentially gets 11 wins again. That's where you are as a program. That's what you've been as a program. Unfortunately, fans expect better. Fans expect more, and they should expect more. For Penn State, this is a harsh reality that this is where you rank among the Big Ten teams. Once again, there's 4 tiers. Tier 1, Michigan, Ohio State. Tier 2, Penn State on its own. Don't you want to be a part of Tier 1? If you do, gotta make some changes. No idea what it is, no idea how you do it, but somehow what you saw today, not good enough to win in the college football playoff era, and certainly never going to be good enough to win in the Big Ten. All right, there you go. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.